Sound. Now we have sound. I had to skip ahead a little bit for Kevin's song so that we could come back in here. I have more music video coming up, but what you just heard was Death Note, which is a brand new release from Suicide Puppets. It's come out in the last 2 weeks, so it's really new. We're gonna have them on our program on the 29th with the Borderline. Like I said, they're gonna do an interview with us. And we will most likely be playing this music video for Death Note as well, which I have inside information, and I'm not going to spoil it until we do the interview in 2 weeks, and they can talk about it, because I'm not going to steal Suicide Puppet's thunder, but it's really awesome backstory on this music video. Anyway, Kevin, tell us about Crown, which we're going to play right after you get done telling us about it.
So Crown's was one of those songs that we put together for sync purposes, really. We were trying to just build off of stuff that I went through, as an artist and even as a person, finding the motivation, to fight, the putting your crown on, so to speak, and, being your own boss, being your own king of your destiny type thing. And that's kind of what this was built on. And the idea for this song was to try to get it into, some sort of major sports or movie or anything that video games, which I have some interest in video game right now. I have a developer that has expressed interest, but I don't know if it's gonna turn into anything. So we'll see.
I mean, it definitely sounds like the kind of song you'd hear in a video game, specifically Madden. Yes. You remember Madden used to have a bunch of songs, and I think that's how I found out about Good Charlotte. Actually, was a Madden, maybe 2003 or something. Yep. Not that Good Charlotte wasn't massively big, but the first time I heard one of their songs was on there.
It's crazy because I was the same way. I remember a Papa Roach song being on there.
That was the same one. It had Good Charlotte and Papa Roach. Yeah. It must have been 2003.
Love Me Not, I think, back then. I don't know if you remember that, but it's just, I guess as artists, we're trying to find other revenue streams. So syncs, the producer I work with, that's his specialty is syncing. So
And when you say syncing, can you explain that?
Sync songs that we hear in commercials, in movies. Anything like that are usually, they're usually sought after for they'll go up to artists and our producers and be like, hey, we need a song for this, we need it to vibe like this, and that's kind of how it all starts. And so it's kind of you don't know, you really don't know what to expect out of when you're writing a song for sync, because it may never sync. That's the thing. It may never get into film. It may never get into any sort of publishing use. So
how do you get into something like that though? Do you just have to know somebody that does it, or is there a website, or?
It's open to everybody, really. I mean, so you can find publishing agencies all online, and you can find a whole bunch of them to work with. Honestly, though, it comes down to having really good music. I mean, I personally can't make a song in my studio and go, okay, it's this is it, I'm going to put it out there. You really need to have a team of people that are good with with producing and making sure the mix is great. Mix is very important. And so I work with Radium Records out in Hollywood, and those guys, Brad's really good with mixing and mastering, and so he does all my mixing and production and everything, and that's kind of, you have to have a good team of people to do that.
Okay, so when you recorded this, you did most of the instrumentation yourself, recording it?
No, Brad did all the instrumentation on it. I just did vocals on this one, and we put my story into it.
Gotcha.
So I helped with writing in that area, but he did all the music end of it, which I kind of rather him do it, And he's doing a lot of this new instrument, the instruments in the new music that I have releasing now. So,
And that releases, what's the name of that one you said releases soon?
Rise.
Rise.
So that's a really big cinematic, just in your face song. It's it's kind of the story behind that is for me, I come from like a very conservative background, and I was involved in with a group of people that was very, it was like I grew up very judgmental, religious, and you kind of felt like you're in a prison. Well, this song is talking about rising out of that. It's just,
Man, I can't wait for this song because
Yeah.
that speaks to me well. I mean, people who've been watching
Yeah.
the show for a long time know that I kind of grew up in a cult, but
you did? We got to talk about that.
yeah, we'll have to talk about. It might be the same cult. It's a very prominent cult.
Oh, wow. When
Spoiler alert, it's not the same, but
It's
similar.
It's so you Jehovah's
Gotcha.
Witness?
Yeah.
I'm a Mormon. So
Oh, really?
Was a Mormon.
Yeah,
I'm not a
was,
Mormon anymore, but yeah.
Yeah. No, nothing against the people. Nothing against any
No,
of
the
that.
people are always good.
Yeah.
It's just the hierarchies of
It's
organizations.
so bad. It's so bad. I mean,
Yeah.
and so that's what this song is really about. I mean, this song. So I went out to Hollywood in January, did the vocals out there, and recorded, with Brad and them, and we were really just, and we finished writing it too. So we were just really pulling some stories, and that's what's good with having a good producer, because, like Alex and I, like, we produce our own stuff and we have fun when we do things, but it's always good, like, we talked about this, it's always good to get another perspective,
Yeah.
another guy or somebody who's kind of coming in, to help you bring out your picture a little bit bigger, better. So, but yeah, it's a challenge though, like, because you want to do a good job, and if you're portraying your music, you want it to be portrayed right, and that's where the mix and mastering come into play, because you can have a really great idea and it just comes out very shitty, and you're like, oh, well, I guess I blew that, or I need to redo it.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
do something better.
And mixing and mastering is really difficult because I've done it myself, and you can tell like how I got better at it from the first songs I mixed and mastered to like the latest songs that I've done. It's definitely something I don't enjoy doing as much as I do the rest of it, but it's like you said, it's necessary.
It's so necessary.
So Alex, do you mix and master all your own stuff?
Nope.
No. So you have somebody else do it for you too.
Yep.
But do you do all the recording then?
Everything that's been out so far, yes. The next song I'm putting out, I did in a studio.
Okay.
Selling out.
No, he had a good production team too, that we were talking about with that song, and I mean, like you can have these ideas, right? And I mean, we're working on some side stuff, and it's just, it's like, it's nice to get someone to come in and say, hey, let's add this, or let's change this sound out, or let's use this guitar tone, because that's just how music is. Not every single artist or band is like, like they go into a studio. Yeah, that's not how it works. I mean, a successful band or artist, even Taylor Swift, they will have a team of people who will help them complete the task and lay out the right music and the right tones, because that's their livelihood. I mean, granted, when you're successful like that, you've kind of already made it, but you still have to maintain that. You know what I mean? You have to maintain that level. So once you break through, you have to just you have to keep getting better and better and better.
Yeah. Which means it costs more and more and more.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean,
that's the big
like
thing.
the biggest thing for a lot of DIYers, myself included, is I only have so much money, right? And like, most people only have so much money.
Yeah.
I've invested in something completely different besides music lately, which is why I have this studio. But it's for music. But
Money well spent.
like, what is
great,
like?
yeah.
I'm not going to out anybody's rates, but what roughly does it cost to like get producers and mixes involved? Just so people know, because I have no idea. I've never even looked into it.
Yeah, it's there's such a huge spectrum. The place I was recording at is the Kaleidoscope in Lancaster. So that's $400 for a 9-hour session.
Okay.
That's 9 o'clock in the morning to 6 at night. You can get track 2 songs there. So that was drums, bass, guitar, vocal. That was over. I think we did 3 sessions. So that's just the recording, and then the mix. I used this gentleman from Lancaster. His name's Carl Bonner. Shout out Carl if you're one of the best in the area, I must say. I don't know why I just did a Trumpy thing. He's the best. He's the best.
Well, it's entered our lexicon.
Yeah, I can't.
Like Kofefe, I always be going like, I'm gonna make me some Kofefe.
And then I think his rates for mixing are $650, and that's broken up into a couple different stages. So he does like an initial mix, do a down payment on that, does revision, and then he does the master. So you can pay him in like segments.
Okay. Is that for like a whole album?
Oh, that's a song.
That's one song. So
Yeah.
it's $650 one song.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, for those rates, I'll just do it myself.
Right. Yeah. No.
No offense. I just
know,
don't have
yeah.
$650 lying
I know.
around to drop on a master. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said too, it's like a down payment. You know, you pay it off over
Well, yeah.
a certain amount. I know it eventually comes out to.
And I mean,
if you
want it to sound like yours, because like your song On and On sounds really, really good.
So
like,
he mixed that. I recorded that at home, and
he mixed it. But even that, like the recording at home and then him mixing it, I mean, it sounds really, really good.
Well, thank you.
It's obvious that somebody really knows what they're doing when they mix that, and you can tell the difference when you hear some DIY music. Even the songs that we play on the stream, there are people that do them themselves, and you can tell the difference between the people that do themselves and the people that pay to master. But sometimes it's just good enough. Like, I don't know what people make on their music, but I ain't never made any money on my music.
No, it's all an investment.
It becomes an investment with no return. Sometimes it's just like I'm good just doing it myself.
Yeah.
It's I tell you what, like, I mean, if you got a good guy, you know, like Alex, you know, has, you know, Carl. I mean, that's what matters. You got to have a guy that connects with you.
Yeah.
And your sound. I mean, the more. I mean, he dealt with you know, guys who went and spent $1,100 a day to record, you know, in world-class studios, you know, and so I mean, you could spend what $300,000 on an EP, you know, easily. But those, I mean, that's getting the best of the best. I mean, I don't know. Personally, I can't stress enough. Like, if you want to take your music to the next level, I had to learn this, is that you have to get somebody to help you take it to that level. If you want to take it to that level, like if you don't want to, that's fine, you know. But people that really are trying to become something or get their music heard, you know, worldwide, like, you're competing against a lot of people. Like
hundreds of thousands of songs are released on Spotify a day.
Yeah.
Like easily, like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands.
Exactly.
A day.
Yeah.
Because anybody can make it now. Like, they have apps that just do samples and then people rap over them.
Yeah.
And they get on Spotify the same time as somebody who spent $500,000 recording one.
Right.
And let me tell you, people that do like overuse on samples, that gets picked up when you go to try to sync music, because if there's like a loop that's been used prior, like this AI technology now will pick up on that. So meaning you might have an awesome song that has a sample that's already been used by another artist that will never ever get a sync, you know, looked at to be synced, because it's been reused. That sample's been used. So it's always good to be creative in writing your own material. You're writing your own samples, you know. Not saying you don't use samples, but, you know.
I mean, I don't use samples because I don't like them.
Yeah.
I mean, I like when the Beastie Boys use them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't like when I use them. I don't really put samples in.
I mean, I've
stuff.
used sample. I know I think we've all used samples in ways, but we take them and manipulate them and make them yours.
Even something as simple as an air horn. Like I have a bunch of unreleased songs that I recorded.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to use a sample for an air horn, but I want an air horn sound.
Yeah.
So I figured out how to do it on my resonator guitar, which is on the wall over there. I don't think anybody can see it from my camera angles, but it's right next to that camera. Yeah, you can grab it. But I figured out how to do it on my resonator guitar with the slide and like some heavy delay and different things on there. So instead of sampling it, I just made a noise, because
like
this thing, like, if you talking to that, Alex, if you talking to that, it makes a metallic sound.
That is really cool.
Yeah, and I have it over there on that corner because when it sounds like a ghost, right? So you get some feedback in there, and it's really cool. I love that guitar for that reason. Like, it allows me to make really weird sounds. But I have it on that wall with the semi-hollow 12-string, because when people are in here playing, it creates a resonator effect that makes the sound not immediately bounce back.
Oh, wow.
So then that's the other reason I have guitars on the back wall, is because these guitars help dissipate music from bouncing back. So when you guys play later, you'll see it sounds really, really good in here when you don't think it should.
That's crazy. Without
having to do like sound treatments, which I'll do sound treatments eventually. But anyway, I want to get people into your song, The Crown. We'll come back right after this song, because I have some music videos to play from in the studio and from live places that we've been out. So let me get you guys back into this song. We will be back shortly. This is Kevin Whitaker's song, Crown.